It's okay. Feel the vibe, it's hazy. You feel it? Enjoy my high, I'm so brave. I love my high, amaze me. Oh yeah. Take me where you want me, want me. Take me where you want me, want me. I want you to show me, show me. It's okay, let go. Yeah, let go. To the beat, let the music set you free. Ooh, feel it, feel it, feel it. Oh. Take me where you want me, want me. Take me where you want me, want me, want me. I want you to show me, show me. It's okay, let go.
Put on a show with me, 'cause it really ain't no biggie. All you gotta do is pose like Vogue inside your phone. Yeah, baby, just roll with it. We'll forget about the long distance. All you gotta do is pose like Vogue inside your phone. What I'm trying to say is pose, baby. Pose, baby. Show me that you miss me inside your phone. Yeah, pose, baby.
And this is divine, my soul's gonna snap back. And how I know you wanna tap and grind on that cat. To show you how you're missing, how I play a look at you. Fantasize how open your mind, I'm your dream catcher. My eyes sleeping, how you know you got a mean snatcher. It's Star Wars, yeah, I'm about to throw a beam at you. Section this, yeah, oh so crazy. Been way too long, yeah, I need you lately. Strobe lights sparkle off your body like baby. 'Cause you know now you're looking extra tasty. No less than amazing, our connection blazing. Forever you know something is raising. Show me that this is your place. 'Cause when everybody in the space here, you know you're gonna make a plan.
Cause it really ain't no biggie. All you gotta do is pose like Vogue inside your phone. Yeah, baby, just roll with it. We'll forget about the long distance. All you gotta do is pose like Vogue inside your phone. What I'm trying to say is pose, baby. Pose, baby. Show me that you miss me inside your phone. Yeah, pose, baby. Pose, baby. Show me that you miss me inside your phone.
You by yourself, what you said when you texting me how you feel. My connection never fails to be ready, I see you there. On social media, say you look at me and you eating and we can be back and cook with your sight up. Been from the valley, but I'm cool when I light up. Whistle that you like to know the lights and you light up. No, you ain't never met some guys like us. Took the try when the midnight sun. Hoping that the morning never comes, but it never left. Posted every pic with the hashtag blast. Girl, get rid of that stress. So you want to get it poppin' in the north. wasn't so for the camera, picture perfect. You just took the first step into a new you. Looking for an update, more than I'm the version of you. Because I already was on this road. No clothes, no phone, make it do what it do. What I put on the show with me, cause it really ain't no biggie. All you gotta do is pose like Vogue inside your phone. Yeah, baby, just roll with it. We'll forget about the long distance. All you gotta do is pose like Vogue inside your phone. What I'm trying to say is pose, baby. Pose, baby. Show me that you miss me inside your phone. Yeah, pose, baby. Pose, baby.
What is going on? Hello. So glad you guys had a chance to come out and join me today for the Fix It workshop. It's a wonderful time to get your business ready to thrive online. And in the next couple of days, we're going to be sharing some tips to get you on track. And specifically, today, I want to share some insight on the core basic foundation of being able to finally get everything fixed. It starts with your mindset and marketing. They're two powerful tools that can actually help you even in your professional life, but some of these principles you can come and bring back and apply right into your personal life. If you have a personal life and a professional life that are happy, I think everything's pretty good. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Elizabeth Morosco. I'm a boutique marketing owner. I've worked for myself for 16 years doing events and marketing for corporations, nonprofits, and so many other things in between. I also publish a magazine called Kudos Magazine, which is focused on healthy, happy living. And I love that because it does send some more positive energy out into the world. But for this purpose today, I'm going to be sharing some insight with you on things that I've learned as an entrepreneur over the past 16 years. And hopefully we can get you on track so you can reap some of the benefits. So how are you guys all doing today? Everybody all right? So drop me a little hello and let me know where you are tuning in from. If you're watching this live with us right now, do a hashtag live, or if it's on the replay, go ahead and hit yourself the replay button. So today, my thoughts were kind of going in a fun direction to be able to talk about some of the things with mindset. Oops, we went all the way to the beginning. Let me go all the way back here. I thought I had the set here. See, this is one of the faux of going live. You get to see how some things go a little bit haphazard. This was my first one right off the bat. So for those of you that don't know me, I just gave a little introduction. That's me again, right there. See if I can get it. Kind of get backwards on this camera. You don't know which way you're pointing. But anyways, I'm excited that you are here today. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop them right in the comments. I do come back and always read the comments. If I have insight that can help you get where you're trying to figure out how to get there, I'll definitely share it with you. But I'd love it if you could take a minute and just introduce yourself. Let us know who you are. Feel free to drop a business link in the comments. And who knows, maybe you'll connect with some other people. It's always a beautiful thing. But it's, let me see right here. All right, introduce yourself. So for the past 16 years, the one thing that I've learned as a business owner is that change is constant. There will always be the next version of something new and great to help your business, and having a little bit of flexibility and a willingness to adapt with your marketing and your mindset are key for success. So today, I think some of the core values are, for getting to success is defining your goal and then committing to a timeline. But for today, what we're going to kind of cover some of the obstacles and ways that you can come up with solutions to help you get centered on top success at warp speed. And the one thing is, with law of attraction going on, sometimes there's this, woo-ha-ha, Be positive. And you know what? Positivity is definitely key. You got to have some motivation too. I love this quote from Zig Ziglar because positive thinking won't let you do anything, but it will let you do everything better than negative thinking will. And I think that this is one of the core things for success is having a willingness to be positive even during difficult times. And this past year, so many of us around the whole globe that are involved in business had to make some major adjustments, from small business owners to home-based entrepreneurs to even large corporations and everything in between. And I think our resilience is proof that, we can get through difficult times together. But at the same time, being able to stay in that positive frame of mind will help make the journey a heck of a lot smoother. So try to stay positive. And, while we're going through this workshop, stay positive, but let's have a realistic approach to what you can do to get your business on track. You may have a bucket list that is, to the wall and beyond, with great ideas, but we have to be realistic about what we can get done, so that we at least make an attempt to get started and stay the course. So one thing that I have found, and I'm guilty of this myself, is often we get into the mode with our business of marketing and promoting, doing all these beautiful things. But what you need to remember if you want to stay in business is form follows function. And what I mean by that is, without sales, this is really more of a hobby than a business. So for you to be able to grow and do the wonderful things that you're dreaming of, spending time with your family, taking vacations, maybe even be able to support a nonprofit you appreciate. Many of the luxuries in life are going to come down to, are you bringing in sales? And when you do that, it's great. But if you spend all of your time focusing on, developing your website and creating great content, marketing is strictly a tool and an action that is meant to bring somebody to the point of sale, where they're ready to say, hey, I want to buy from you. So your marketing, unless you're a marketing agency, your marketing is not your business. It's a tool to help you get sales. So the whole form of how beautiful and everything's butterflies and rainbows and your Facebook looks great and you got a beautiful website. But the question is are you generating sales from that? And if not, you need to quickly start to shift your thinking from just marketing and making pretty stuff to, how do I connect with sales calls, in person, letters, making that sale. So remember, form follows function. Many years ago, I had read, I found it was a Martha Stewart book. I don't remember the name of it. It was one of the only, I think, business books she wrote. And it was at the dollar store. So I thought, what the heck, pick it up. There was this one specific story where she was talking about, somebody starting a landscape company. And how do you stay successful? How do you continue to grow from like a startup company? And she was explaining, you get the jobs before you go buy the landscape truck. And often a lot of people are going and buying the landscape truck and $50,000 or $5,000 or $500 worth of other stuff to help their business grow, but they've never made a sale. So I want you to be able to be incredibly successful in the way that you're approaching things, so that it'll help this be a positive journey so that you can flourish. And I've even heard some personal coaches talking about maxing out your credit card to take online training. I would beg to differ. If you're in that situation, maybe you even look at local colleges to take classes, or to even start using YouTube videos. Be smart about the way that you're operating your business and your personal life, especially if you own the company, you guys, because this profit over a paycheck is a big deal. But if you're spending all of your profit, guess what? You don't get a paycheck. So you want to be super mindful of what you're doing and be constructive with your business within the boundaries that you have. Obviously stretching and reaching you may have to do different things, but maxing out your credit card, I believe, is actually irresponsible. So I want to encourage you, make sure that while you're going through this journey that you start evaluating, am I spending too much time on my foo-foo marketing stuff and not making a sale? And if you immediately said yes, it's the first thing that I want you to start to shift into your thinking, is start to move more into the sales part of connecting, calling people, and not just continually staying on that rabbit hole of I made it look pretty and I know how to make a killer sales funnel. It's beautiful, so do I, but is it generating sales or connections with you? And we'll be talking about that more over the next couple of days. So, but with that being said, this is what I want to say to you also. I don't know if you know this or not. What you are selling is not what your client is buying. I don't know if you know that. So if you, like McDonald's is a quick one to think of really quick. McDonald's is not selling food. They're not. Well, they are, but they're not. And Wholesales is not selling food. They're selling food, but that's not what they're selling. To the customer, what clients that are going to McDonald's, what they're buying is speed, fast, cheap food, and you have a general idea of what the heck it is, right? Whole Foods on the opposite end. They're not just selling food. In fact, they're selling food that costs maybe, 1.5% higher, 30% higher at least than traditional grocery stores. And what are they selling? They're selling organic, fresh, healthy food. And there's a big difference between the two mindsets. Yes, there can be clients that eat both, but the point that I'm trying to make with you is why people go to those things is beyond what your end product is. They're not just buying your product, goods, or services. They're buying how it makes them feel or what it brings into their life. It could be convenience. So I want you to think about that. For instance, if you are a car dealer, for it's International Women's Day, I think this or week or something this week. But for women, it could be they're purchasing a vehicle from you because you are reliable, you are trustworthy, you have something that's going to make them feel empowered and happy in their little red Corvette. So a dentist, same thing. You're not selling just fillings and braces or dentures or whatever. You're selling confidence. You're selling a willingness for people to feel free and a way for people to be themselves. So when you start looking at your product in a new perspective, not from yourself but from that client perspective, it gives you a chance to experience your product in a different way. So I want you to take the time and start looking at maybe how it is that your client's feeling. And another thing that's really, it's nonstop, you guys. Change is always going to be constant. But right now, we are living in a world full of change and a little bit of chaos. So I want you to become focused on what are the changes that are happening in your market. What are new things that are happening? And that can be in terms of like your customers, changes that are happening to them. Are there a lot of people that are moving out of state that are applicable to your industry? Or even vendors, like if you consider Facebook one of your vendors, it's one of your platforms that you use to promote your business. There's been a lot of changes with what they're doing online, including who they're allowing online or who they're censoring or booting, and people are leaving. Are you paying attention to where your market is going? And it's going to be especially important right now with some people that have maybe built all of their marketing only in one platform and never created a direct connection with the client. So you want to become aware. What are the things that are happening in the market and the world around you? And as we get through this next couple of days, I'm going to be sharing some golden nuggets to help you stay on track, including like some techie tips and some mindset hacks. But what I want to really emphasize is don't try to do it all at once, and don't try to do it all on your own. If you happen to be like a medium to large size company, you can do a lot of it with your team, and you can do it all at once. But even that, you've got to pace yourself and figure out what is your flow and your schedule that works for you. But I've seen it happen so many times where people end up in burnout mode, or they don't even start because they're trying to shove it all down one pipe all at the same time, and you can only do so much at once. So become very conscious of that, and we're going to talk a little bit about mapping it out in just 1 second right here. So a lot of times people, they just get into this mode of, I've got this project I want to do, and all these different things that they're dreaming of big that they want to create for their company. And they may even get into, a mode of purchasing all these programs and tools and software and hardware and blah 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 blah. But the problem is, if you buy that, it doesn't mean success. Sometimes it can actually stump you. So I want you to become focused with your mindset and zoom in on just one promotion per quarter that you want to do for your business. Now, like I said, if you're a medium to large size company and you've got a support team, you can beef it up a little bit. But even with that, you've got to learn to take baby steps so that you can get to these leaps, and you're not into a place of, overwhelming people. So avoiding that overload that can happen from shiny object syndrome of the next best thing. I got to buy that. I got to get this. I got to get in that training. I got to buy that new camera, that new lighting, that new whatever, fill in the blank. No, you may not necessarily need to buy any of that. So become mindful that you don't get into that shiny object syndrome. So I'm curious from you, what is your favorite social media app that you're using right now? For me, I love Facebook. I do. I love Facebook. I have been very fortunate to be able to build multiple pages on here that have been incredibly instrumental to different marketing strategies that we've implemented for ourselves and even for our clients. And it's an incredible way, and it's always changing. For me, another one is I do like podcasting. We've done really well with a couple of podcasts that we have. I think that podcasts will continue to grow, especially during this, maybe like the exodus we're seeing of some people that are leaving social media and starting all these, we'll call them spin-off rogue apps. But podcasting and Facebook, those are my two. But I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What is your favorite social media app? It's all good stuff here. But it keeps going. It keeps changing. And eventually, I think there's like 30 different apps you can use. And if you try to use them all at once, it's a bad move. It's going to burn you out. So become focused and pick one that you want to master. And then maybe pick up like one, I'll call it one or two side gigs, we'll call it, for your social media. But pick one that you want to master, and then just get on there and dominate it. And those other things can become additional support. And when I say like going in and mastering it, side note, I'm not saying ignore your own social media stuff that you have, like on your own platform, your own email list. But for social media, pick one that you just absolutely want to dominate. So this is another thing. I was talking to you briefly about like all these different projects that you have, and sometimes we think we are Wonder Woman or Superman at 2 a.m. and we're looking at all these ideas that we have. But having a realistic approach to this and understanding your own limits and your team's limits. And if you have a team, it's important to encourage them to have healthy habits and to come back rejuvenated so they can give it their best. And that includes for you. But often business owners are so passionate about what they do, they just keep going and going. There's an advantage to setting some limits and boundaries. Even it can help you become refreshed and come back in a new way. So even though everything in the world is right at your fingertips that you can get, it's important for you to set some boundaries. It's a healthier way to live, and it doesn't mean by you taking a little bit of a break and only taking bite-sized nuggets, it doesn't limit your ability for success. In fact, I think it helps you become ultra focused and perfect so that you can go to this next level. And one of the things that people often overlook is don't try to do it all at once, outsource it. And if you follow what the experts say, as you're growing and new opportunities happen, they tell you get to that certain threshold and then you start outsourcing, and that creates the ability for you to produce more without trying to do it all at once and going through that burnout yuck phase, right? So as you start looking at one fella that you may or may not know of, who knows of Peter Drucker? This is going back from college for me, but in economics, Peter Drucker always came up, call him the godfather of economics. But what he used to say is do what you do best and outsource the rest. And how he explained it from a book I read like 30 years ago in college because of whatever credits. He was explaining that if you can find somebody that can do the task that you need to have done at 80% of the capacity of how you would accomplish it, that's the person that you outsource it to. Nobody's going to do it 100% the way that you would do it, because I know you think that you're rock star awesome, and you probably are. But having that ability to say, hey, I'm gonna stay in my lane and focus on what I do best, and then I'm also gonna have somebody fill in these gaps so I can do what I do best. You might be. Oh, excuse me one second. I have a kid that's actually yelling in the background. He's supposed to be in class, and I keep hearing him. So I'm trying to text him, tell him, knock it off, please. So, but this is the thing, is if you can find somebody else to fill in some of these gaps as you're growing, they won't be able to do it 100% to the way that you do it, but they'll be able to do that 80%. You can go back and fill in the other 20% and keep flowing and growing. So if there was one thing in your life that you could outsource or delegate it so you could be focused on what you do best, what is the one task you would delegate? Like, are you trying to do all of your accounting? Is it maybe time to hire a CPA? Are you trying to create all your video content and learn video editing software? Well, maybe you need to hire a video production or strategy company to offload that for you. Are you trying to, fill in the blank? And this can even go with your own personal life. Are you trying to manage everything in your house? Maybe at a certain point you start tasking some of these responsibilities to your kid, or, maybe you need to hire a handyman because you're not getting that job done at your house, or maybe you need to hire a personal shopper because you're not getting that job done right. And it calls for different things at different times in your life. I remember years ago, I was working at Ford Motor Company. At the time, we were doing presentations all over the globe, and sometimes some of the activity would come here to Michigan. We had some executives that were coming in from Japan. They were executives from Honda. So it was like a 2-week period of nonstop back-to-back meetings and entertainment. And as I was trying to get through that workload, and it was a heavy workload that was incredibly intense, just so intense. There's so many different layers. I didn't even have time to go shopping for a suit, and I needed to have a couple refreshed suits. So at the time, I went to, I think it was Hudson's at the time, and they used to have these personal shoppers. and I met this lady. I didn't even know about it. I just stumbled upon it, and I was frustrated because I couldn't find anything. If you have a chance to meet me, I'm very short. I'm 5 feet tall. So it can become a little bit troublesome finding things to fit you. So I go into Macy's and I have this, happen to run into this lady. I meet her, and she was a personal shopper. And I think she was just like the cashier at the time. And then she was explaining to me what she did there at the store. It was Hudson's at the time. So I ended up having her, she ended up saying, let me take your measurements, let me check out everything that you have and ask you a couple questions. And then when I find a suit or things that I think that will work for you, I'll call you. Or if you have something specific that you're looking for an event, call me and we will look for it for you. Well, this lady ended up becoming my saving grace at the time. So knowing this was happening, she had mapped out and picked out all these cute little suits for me. Awesome. So I didn't have to worry about it at the time. Now, realistically, now do I need a personal shopper to shop for suits? No. Sometimes I'm walking around in my pajama bottoms for most of the day. But back then, that was something that was detrimental because I needed to be able to present in public, and I didn't have time to do it and to do it the right way. So it could be for you, maybe that shed that you need that you were going to build this summer, maybe you need to outsource that. Or maybe it's once a week you need to bring in a cleaning lady at home. Or for your business life, maybe you need to hire a bookkeeper or a social media strategist, or somebody that specializes in that engineering project that you just don't have time to get into and fix. You need to find out what is one thing that you can outsource right now that would help you. So drop it in the comments. What's one thing you think that would help you a lot? So for your homework tonight, this is what I'd really like you to do, because with everything that we're going to do going forward, this is the fundamental little foundation, you guys, is you got to identify what is your goal. And I know that you want the world. I know it. You're capable of it. But let's cut the crap, quit spinning the wheels, quit trying to eat the apple in one great big bite. You're going to choke on it. Put the apple down. Put the apple down and let's get serious. I want you to focus on what is your one goal that you want to accomplish for this quarter. It could be launch a sales funnel. It could be launch a workshop. It could be, create my brand new website. It could be fill in the blank. What is one specific goal that you want to accomplish this year? Now, to make this really effective for your business, this one, it should be focused on your business. So what is a task that's going to be able to tie to the end result of a sale or a direct connection with your, qualified sales lead? What's one goal? And write it down on a piece of paper. You can write it in the comments if you want to, but write it down on a piece of paper. And that's going to be the thing that we're focusing on over the next 3 days. That goal. And then in the upcoming days, I'm going to be sharing different tools and techniques of how you can get to it. But right now, this is the basics. This is the next thing, you guys. We so often write down these goals, and it's like we're dreaming of rainbows and butterflies and unicorns. Well, guess what? They're pretty, but they're not real. But what is real are obstacles, objections, and just trash that happens when we're going for our goal. So you probably write down your goal most of the time, and then you don't think about what are the obstacles. I want you to be proactive in thinking, okay, I have this goal for this quarter that we're going to accomplish. But here are some obstacles that we're going to have. A lot of times this is stuff that you have floating in the back of your head. I actually want you to write it down. What are 3 obstacles that you feel, believe, or know are going to happen when you start going for that goal? And right next to those obstacles, or right after those obstacles, I want you to come up with 3 solutions for each of those obstacles. So, it's technically a chance for you to dig in deeper and look at, okay, I've got this objection, but here's a solution, and then mapping it out. So it could be, I don't have time. It could be the next one is you're going to delegate it, or I don't know how to do it. The solution could be, I'm going to hire a coach. I'm stuck on this route. I'm going to do A, B, or C. And the reason why I'm saying this to you is I want you to start to identify if you are an optimist or if you are in this negative, funky mindset that we've got to shake it off. Yeah, we got to shake it off. And the reason why is because that fear and uncertainty can literally become the chain of death for your business. So instead of allowing that stuff to fester and ferment in the back of our head, we're going to bring it right out onto a piece of paper. You're going to write down what are your obstacles or objections, and then 3 things for each of them on how you're going to be able to overcome that, right? And as you do that step, it's going to take some of this trash that's in the back of your head and boot it out so that you can focus on your goal instead of struggling with these thoughts that pop up in your head at 2:00 in the morning when you're wondering, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? How am I going to, I got to face this. Sometimes the trash that we tell ourselves in our head is much worse than what actually ever transpires, right? So why create that kind of negative environment? I want you to stay refreshed and positive and do this in a positive way. The next thing is starting to optimize your digital thumbprint. And what I mean by that is, at the beginning, we were talking about social media and picking one platform, like identify what's that one that you love. So after you do that, you've identified that one, I want you to go back in and look at all of your stuff starting from, like, for instance, let's say it's Facebook. What is the point of entry where people are meeting you? Sometimes it's your profile page. Are you looking like a professional on there? Are you spamming on your page? Are you connecting with people? Are you pushing content? In the next couple of days, I'm going to show you different ways that you can really optimize it. But for now, I basically want you to go in and take a look at, like, what is your digital thumbprint? How are you appearing online in comparison to how you want to appear online? And this one, I'm going to tell you, it can take some time to work through all of it. And over the next couple of days, we're going to be doing that. But I don't want you to be scattered and trying to do it on, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, MeWe, Clubhouse. Let's just zoom in and get focused on what's going to work best for you. So it's something that can be absolutely wonderful for you. So this is a scoop, you guys. If you did not register to be in the workshop today, that's cool. But I want to make sure that you qualify for some of the freebies that we're going to be giving out and strategies. And then we're also going to be doing prizes over the next 3 days. So to qualify for, I'm going to have some cool stuff for you in the morning, or not in the morning, in the afternoon when I come out here and see ya. Morning, I guess, depending on where you're viewing from, right? But I'm going to have some fun stuff. But what you've got to do is tomorrow when you come back online, I want you to identify what is your one goal that you are going to start working on for this quarter. And that way we can start having a little bit of fun and doing it in a serious way. I don't want you to just daydream while you're coming into this workshop. I want you to daydream, be positive, and then also have some action steps that you can take to really get down into the nitty gritty. So I am so incredibly grateful that you came out and you spent some time with me today. I had a little bit of delay kicking off that timer. So tomorrow we will be starting at 1 p.m. sharp. I'll do a little dance party. Hopefully you guys were dancing with me at the beginning. And if not, then we're going to work on that this week too, because we need to get you out of your funky space. That COVID has possessed the minds of so many people. It's time to get you reset, boot up for positive living is focused on the best for your business. And that's what we're going to do. I want you to be able to run your business, be profitable, and at the same time, be able to actually enjoy the life that you're creating. All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you got something out of this video, maybe tell a friend about it. If you know a fellow entrepreneur, nonprofit, or business leader, make sure that they know about what's going on here over the next couple of days. We're going to be digging into some really fun stuff tomorrow, and I can't wait to see ya. All right, in the meantime, see ya. Where'd we go? Woo, bye.